Well, there is a message that's going to come forth today. So let's hear what it's all about. Well, since this is the 4th of July, holiday weekend celebration, I thought what a better theme we could do than to start with what is freedom? That's our topic for today. What is freedom? And the piece that I am bringing this topic from is actually the book that I've been reading from Deepak Chopra called Power, Freedom, and Grace. And so I figured the freedom part we can highlight today. And since it's the 4th of July, I think that referring to our founding fathers and this land, this nation that we live in is an important one, because our founding fathers had the intent and they took the example, they took the experience and action of establishing freedom in their lives. They wanted to be free from England, and they wanted to take action to do it. I wanted to share with you, I'm sure that probably you've heard this before, but most of the signers of the Declaration of Independence had experienced after that a lot of troubles. And they may have probably been somewhat aware that that could be the case. They probably didn't go into this thinking this is all going to be a bed of roses. But the majority of the 15 who signed the Declaration of Independence really did come up with some major roadblocks, and even more so than that in their lives. So I wanted to share with you what happened to 38 of the 56 of them. 5 of the signers were captured by the British as traitors and tortured before they died. 12 had their homes ransacked and burned. 2 lost their sons serving in the Revolutionary Army. Another 2 had sons captured. 9 of the 56 fought and died from wounds or hardships of the war. They signed and pledged their lives, fortunes, and their sacred honor. Carter Braxton of Virginia saw his ships swept away by the British Navy. He sold his home and properties to pay his debts and died in rags. Thomas McKeern was so hounded by the British that he was forced to move his family constantly. He served in Congress without pay, and his family was kept in hiding. He died in poverty. Vandals or soldiers looted the possessions of 8 of them. At the Battle of Yorktown, Thomas Nelson Jr. noted the British General Cornwallis had taken over the Nelson home for his headquarters. He quietly urged George Washington to open fire. The home was destroyed and Nelson died bankrupt. Francis Lewis had his home and property destroyed. The British jailed his wife and she died within a few months. Their 13 children fled for their lives and their property destroyed. Lewis hid in the forests and caves, returning home to find his wife dead and children vanished. So maybe it's worth a few minutes on the 4th of July to reflect that freedom isn't free and patriotism isn't a sin. Let's remember that these folks put a lot of energy and effort and lives into the ability to what we have today. So as we are looking at the 4th of July and this time of freedom, freedom for all, freedom comes with a price. Freedom isn't free, they say. And so let's us look at what is our freedom that we have right here today in our lives. You know, remember that one of the main reasons why our forefathers fought for this freedom and wanted this freedom so much is they wanted the freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. That is a powerful nuance that they weren't saying, let's just get rid of all religion. That they were saying is, let us choose what religion, what path that we would like to follow. And so I know that I wanted to start with the patriotic theme and so forth, and that guides us into really what the meat of our topic is today. Because the meat of our topic is really what we are. One of these qualities, these God qualities that we are, is freedom. That's what we are. We are free. And yet we will not experience that freedom unless we choose it. And many, many times in our lives as we've been growing up, we've been, as Don Miguel Ruiz says, we've been domesticated. And we've learned to live our lives from the outside in. What that means is, to me, is we've learned to be people pleasers. What can I do so that somebody will like me? What can I do to make sure that other people are happy? What can I do so that I won't be concerned what people will think of me, that they'll think wrongly of me? Does that sound, is those tapes just in my head, or do they go with anybody else's heads as well? So we we keep ourselves from the outside in. And when truly and frankly, if that's what we are doing in that moment is that we are choosing bondage. We are choosing to be bound to the limitation, to the smallness, and trying to keep inside us what we are. For we are, the truth of us is, what we are free is that we are free to be this beautiful expression of the infinite. This spirit that moves and gives and always is looking for something new and exciting and different. And that is freedom. But it comes from the inside going out, not the other way around. And so many times we get ourselves mixed up. And we look at the outside and think, oh yeah, that's what I got to do. When truly and really, in reality, if we were to center ourselves and go within, we will hear the message that we are to bring forth. You see, each one of those men that signed that Declaration of Independence, they were all individuals. You know, all of them had their own particular lives, what they were doing in it, and some of them were sacrificed. Some of them went on to become presidents of the United States and all of these other wonderful things. Not all of them, you know, were killed and had horrible things happen. But we too are those same individuals forging ahead in our lives today, choosing, consciously hoping, choosing freedom. Freedom from bondage and freedom to be what we truly are. This love and expression. In the book, Deepak says that the whole purpose of living in freedom is to enjoy the choices that you make in every successive moment of the present. When you live in the now and the here, you recognize that the real you dwells in the timeless, eternal moment. You cannot take action in the past or in the future. So if you dwell there, you feel powerless. This makes sense, doesn't it? When we are living in the moment, in the real moment now, we are powerful. That's the only power we have, is in this moment. And when we draw ourselves, our mind pulls us to the back, pulls us to the past, pulls us like we wanted to make it change, and we know that's crazy. We can't change the past, it's done. When our mind and our ego pulls us to the future and wants something to be in a particular way, and we worry about it. I know I've in the past, we've gone over this. There are no worry warts here. And if you catch yourself saying, now I'm worried about that, one of us here is going to help you out. And remember, you can relanguage that. There's no need to worry, no need to fret. Well, that reminds me, I wrote a poem about that one time. I wonder what that is. No need to worry, no need to fret. Well, I'll look it up. We'll share that one on another day. But the point of it is that when we are present in the now, life works. When we are present in the now, there is no consternation, there's no limitation, there's no worrying. We are accepting life it is. Now, granted, there are some situations that we find ourselves in that are not pleasant, that are not comfortable. So here's the trick. Here is the nuance that we as spiritually mature beings have learned, and that is to look at the situation, recognize it, don't hide it under the rug, don't try to sweep it there, don't try to ignore it. Recognize your feelings, recognize your thoughts, recognize what's going on, and then take a moment to just step back and observe the situation and observe yourself in it. And know that there is something greater in me, as me, right now, that is stepping forth to do what needs to be done at this moment. There is something greater in me that is stepping forth to say the right and perfect thing that will give love to this situation, that will extend love. You know, the Course in Miracles says we only have two choices. We can choose love or we can choose fear. And our love is what we are. That's our truth. That's our wholeness. That's our baseline, hardcore thing, hardwired. That's what we are. And every time we fall into the fear, into the limitation, that's just a voice that sounds real familiar. And we can just say, thank you for sharing. What are you choosing today? Are you choosing freedom? Are you choosing love? Are you choosing fear? Are you choosing limitation? Right now, if you go into your heart and you listen to your heart, it will tell you the answer, the truth, all the time. What path am I following? We're on a journey here, you know. It's not a final destination, sorry guys. Because we are eternal spirits. And so we are constantly recalculating this journey that we're on. To recalculate back to love. Every time fear, every time limitation comes up as a choice, looking at the outside and this fear comes up, we have the choice to go back to our strength, to go back to our internal being. So we have the choice to be free from or free to. Let's choose to be free to go where no man has boldly gone before. How many of you growing up were in the in crowd? You know, you were in the in crowd? You were in the in crowd. You were too? Wow, we got some good in crowd people here. Well, I'll say 3 out of 20. I was in the other crowd. And I guess this is what the example, even when growing up, I remember thinking, gee, I would wish I could be in the in crowd. I wished I could be, because I would look at those people and I go, oh man, that was the president of the student body, and you know, oh, that gal, she's just got it so much together, and you know, I remember one gal in my high school, honestly, she acted and looked like she was 35 years old. I mean, really. She was beautiful, she just had it together, she was poised, and I always wondered, wow, I'm not like that. I guess why I'm bringing this up is that I'm actually registering now for my 50th anniversary of my high school graduation this year. And so, you know, you kind of reminisce, you're supposed to write this little thing about what you've done in the last 50 years and all that kind of business. And so you kind of look back and you think, gosh, if I go to that reunion, what, am I going to recognize anybody, you know? Or, hopefully they'll have a picture of what they used to look like on their name tag. So, oh, you're that person. And so as I am preparing to go to this reunion, I was remembering a couple things from high school. And one of them was my freshman year. I had the football coach for my English teacher. Any of you have that kind of thing? I had my, another coach, football coach, was my French teacher. Any bit. So my English teacher in freshman year was, he gave us this assignment, and what it was is that we had to watch this little film. You know, it was a film strip, I think. It was like a movie. It was something that I think they had shown on TV, or it was a boxing match. And our assignment was to write a story of what we watched, and then we were to get up and read it to the class. And so I'm a good little student, you know, I'm taking copious notes. And I'm blow by blow, I've got it all down, you know, every description of what happened here. And then even every once in a while, I would interject, drop, drop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is, oh, what a relief it is. Do you remember that? Alka-Seltzer, right? And so I had written all this down, and then the teacher, actually not everybody got to read theirs, but I was asked to read mine. So I got up there and did the blow by blow, and then I did my little song. I think they had three different commercials. So I was tenacious. I did every one. And I think, to me, what that says as I look back is that it was me coming forth, being the me that I was meant to be. In my sophomore year, my English teacher was the debate counselor, Miss Brooks. And so she had everybody get up there and give speeches. You had to get up and give a speech. And I can remember getting up and giving a speech, and I was looking in the back of the room, and I saw Miss Brooks, and her eyes were like this, and her mouth was standing open. And afterwards she goes, I just had no idea that big voice could come out of that little girl. And so what I'm asking you today is to honor yourself, to honor your talents, unique as they are. Don't be afraid to let them flow from you. Don't be afraid of what other people might think. Don't hold yourself back. Don't restrict yourself from living the life that you came here to live. There is a Sanskrit proverb that says, yesterday is but a dream, tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day, for it is life. It is the very life itself. And that's what we are to do, is to accept this life as we have been given it, knowing that it is expansive, that this love that we are is going to step forth and do more and more and more. And we are going to experience more and more and more freedom than we ever have in the past, because we are moving forward in the future. And I'm going to pop my eye here. Remember that this weekend, and not just this weekend, but every single day of this coming year, we do live in freedom, in a land of the free and the home of the brave. I want you to be brave. Go out there and do what no one else has done. Do it with your best. Do it with your vigor. Do it with your vim, knowing that there is a source, a power in and of and through you that you are emanating out. You're living from the inside out. And what happens? That source, that power, that energy will come back and smile on you and bless you and love you and give you just an amazing amount of joy, of peace, and absolute freedom. Let your freedom ring this day and every day. And so it is. Namaste.